Subject to real estate myth debunked. Today I'm going to talk about some subject to real estate investing myth that are going to be debunked. The very first thing is that it's very hard to find a subject to deal. And the answer to that is yes, it is hard, but at the same time it's not hard. Okay? What do I mean? Well, anything you want to do in life that you've never done before, it's going to be tough. Well, the first time I rode a bike, it was tough. The first time I rode a scooter, it was tough. The first time I rode my motorcycle, it was tough. The first time I rode my ATV, it was tough. The first time I rode my jet ski, it was tough. The first time I rode a skateboard, it was tough. The first time I rode a bike, it was tough. So the point of the story is that anything you do in the beginning you've never done before, it will be tough and hard. So that is the truth, and I just want to be honest with you. The other thing that I want to debunk is that buying subject to real estate is easy. It's easy. And that is yes and no. It is easy once you know what you're doing. But in the very beginning, it is not easy. Okay? To be your dreams is not easy. If you want to be a book writer, you want to be a singer, you want to be an artist, you want to find subject to real estate properties, you want to find Airbnb properties. Well, it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be hard. It's going to take efforts. Okay, so I want to get those across. The other thing I want to debunk about subject to investing is that you can get free houses. And the answer to that is yes and no. Yes, you can get free houses. What do I mean by that? I can do some marketing. I can find a motivated seller and he or she just may be willing to just let me just take over their house payment. And that's it. I don't have to come up with any money to pay this seller. But what I want to debunk is that whenever you hold property, you always need money. It doesn't matter if you're going to do Airbnb. It doesn't matter if you're going to do fix and flips. It doesn't matter if you're going to do just traditional rental. Anytime you hold a real estate property, you're going to need money. You're going to need money for taxes. You're going to need money for marketing. You're going to need money for maintenance. You're going to need money for vacancy. You're going to need money for holding fees. You're going to need all these. You're going to need money. So just because a subject to deal can get you a free house, it doesn't mean that house is truly going to be free. Because anytime you hold real estate property as a buy and hold guy strategy or as a fix and flipper, then you're going to have to come up with some money. Now, there are strategies out there where you can put a house under contract and turn around and quickly sell it, aka real estate wholesaling, where you don't have to come up with a whole lot of money like a fix and flipper, as a buy and hold guy, as an Airbnb. However, normally when you buy a subject to real estate property, even if you get it for free, even if the houses are current, even if the house is not behind in payments, even if there's no back taxes, holding a real estate, even if you get it for free, is going to cost you money. And I just want to debunk that because a lot of people are dead broke. They can't even make monthly payments and they're thinking they can get a free house. And yes, you may be able to get a free house. There might be a seller out there that'll just letting you willing to just let you take over their payments. There might be a seller out there that's moved out of this state. They don't need the house anymore. They don't want to make double payments. They'll just allow you to take the payments. But the problem is that even though you may get a free house, end of the day, you're going to have to stop paying for something. If it's the mortgage, if it's the insurance, if it's the taxes, if it's the marketing to put the house up for rent, whatever the story is, you can get free houses in real estate, but end of the day, the debunking is you're going to have money to cure the loan, make the payments, take care of it, okay? Now, another thing I want to talk about subject to real estate investing myth and debunks is subject to real estate investing legal? Now, first of all, I want to put a disclaimer out there that I'm not an attorney, okay? But what I can tell you is that when you go on to a closing HUD, which is called the HUD-1, whenever you buy a house, traditionally or untraditionally, with a realtor, without a realtor, when you get to the title company, they're going to have you sign something called a HUD-1. If you look at a HUD-1, I'm walking right now, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe, line 205 or 203, I might be mistaking, I don't have it in front of me, but if you look in your HUD-1, it'll say, buying houses subject to his existing mortgage. So I'm not an attorney, so I'm not giving you legal advice, but in the HUD-1, which is a federally paper, right? If I can just simply say that, it says on there, buying houses subject to his existing mortgage. So take that for what it is. In a HUD-1, it says you can buy houses subject to. Now, another myth about subject to real estate investing that I want to debunk is about persuasion. A lot of real estate investors are learning or asking me, how do you persuade the seller? How do you persuade the seller? How do I become a better sales guy? How do I become a better negotiator? Well, one thing I want to debunk about subject to real estate investing is that I never persuade a seller to let me go with seller financing. I never persuade the seller for me to just take over their payments. Okay, I never persuade the seller for them to become my personal bank. What I do, on the other hand, is that I don't persuade them. I look for motivated sellers that are already persuaded. So here's the key that I want to debunk. I never try to convince a seller to do something that he or she does not want to do. Actually, I do the opposite. I push them away. I say, no, I don't want to do this. What I do is I look for motivated sellers that they're persuading me that I should buy their home. So let me say that again. I look for motivated sellers that are trying to persuade me why I should take over their payments, or why I should buy their home, or why they should be my bank, versus me trying to persuade them. So this is something that I want to debunk about subject to real estate investing, is that I don't persuade sellers for me to take over their mortgages, or for me to take over their house payments, or for me to have them become my private bank. I don't persuade them. The reason I don't persuade sellers is because in real estate, there's a long term before the deal closes. So there's a lot of buyers and seller remorse. And one thing I've learned from many years of being an entrepreneur and a sales guy is that when you persuade someone, that eventually they're going to have buyers or sellers remorse. And one thing I've learned is I don't want them to have buyer or sellers remorse, so I let them make the decision themselves. I don't persuade them. I'm not an external force trying to, use a sales tactic to draw them in or convince them. No, the total opposite. What I do is I get there, I educate them with all their options that I know underneath my belt, from bankruptcy to listening with a realtor, etc. I give them all. I call it my superhero closing, and you can actually download it in my Subject to Launchpad right now, that we have in a special on, and it shows you how I do my negotiation. But what I do is I don't persuade the seller, I educate the seller, and usually the seller is the one that's trying to persuade me that I should buy their home. So that's one of the major debunks, that I never try to persuade the seller. The seller is the one that's trying to persuade me to buy their home. And this is one of the major things to debunk, because a lot of students want to learn how to do all these tricks to persuade a real estate home seller to let them buy their house at a deep discount, or let them, do seller financing. Where on the other hand, I provide a lot of value to the seller. I educate them, and the seller sees me as an authority. They see me as someone that's trying to help them. And then the seller is going to suggest to me that I should buy their home. They're going to suggest to me that I should buy it at a deeper discount because they like me, or they think that I'm going to close fast, or whatever the story is. I never try to persuade the seller for them to sell their home at a discount, or let me do owner financing. What I do is I educate them. I try to help them out. And usually the seller, if not 99.9% of the time, the seller is telling me that I should be the one buying their homes, because they're willing to do seller financing because of the education that I provided to them. So the debunking is, I don't persuade sellers to sell me their home at a discount. I don't persuade sellers to do owner financing. I don't twist their arms. I do not do any of this tactics, okay? Even though I have the skills to do it, I don't do it because I know there's buyer remorse. I truly want the seller to be in a good positioning, and I want them to truly want to sell me their home. They want to give it to me because they try other options. They tried the realtor. They tried this. They tried that. They tried that. And I want them to realize that I am their best option, and I want them to come to that decision by themselves. Now, I'm drilling this in so hard because I want you to realize that the seller comes to their own decision making by themselves. They should give me the house. I don't persuade them. And the reason is because of so many different things, okay? I don't want the seller to have a bad taste in their mouth. I don't want the seller to have buyer's remorse or seller remorse. I don't want to deal with all the legality of I took their home at a deep discount, none of that stuff. So I'm not a pushy sales guy. I'm not even a sales guy. I'm just an educator. I tell people what I can do for them. I try to give them all the options they have underneath the whole world, even if I don't make money. A lot of the options that I provide to sellers, I don't make any money, zero, zilch, nothing. I just help them out, and I believe in karma, right? So the more people I can help out, the more deals I can get. And usually the sellers will feel that vibe that I'm a authority to help them, versus someone that's trying to steal their home, someone's like a sleazy sales guy. like a lot of other real estate investors. And when they meet the other sleazy sales guys, they're going to realize that I wasn't a sales guy. I was true to my word. I said everything that I said I was going to do, and I did it on time. I was never late. I never said I was going to do X and didn't show up, and I'm a man of my word. And that in itself, plus the free education that I provided to them without being pushy, without trying to convince them, is going to allow the seller to make their own decision that, hey, Mike is a nice guy. Mike is the guy that I want to do the deal with versus Bob, Sam, and Jose, okay? And once that information is implanted in their brain, that they make their own decision, when the seller makes their own decision, and that idea is implemented by themselves, then no one can take it away from them because they came up to that decision, and that's what I do, guys. I allow sellers to make their own decision, and a lot of times I don't get the deal, and I'm okay with it because I don't need every deal, right? I'm not here to try to scoop up every deal and wholesale every deal. No. That's not what I do. Other people do that, and that's cool with it. I'm cool with that, okay? For me, I'm here to help the seller, and when I walk this path, I want to help as many people as possible, and if I can't make any money, I still want to help you guys, just like I help the sellers. A lot of times, I'm helping you guys, you're making money, if it's flipping bikes, if it's buying houses, if it's marketing, and a lot of times, I don't make any money, and I'm okay with that, ladies and gentlemen, because I love to help people. I'm only going to come down this street one time, and I want to help as many people as possible. And what I mean by coming down the street, I mean I only have one life. Soon I will be dead. Soon you will be dead. And the goal is to help as many people as possible while I'm walking down the street, which is my life, right? And I'm not looking to get every deal. I'm not trying to make massive profits from every situation, every seller. There's a lot of sellers that I've helped out. I haven't made a dime from it, right? I actually lost money. There's a lot of times, like with you guys, I am investing my time, I'm investing my resources to make you these educational videos. I don't make a dime from it. A lot of you guys make a lot of money, and I'm totally happy with it. And the same philosophy is exactly what I use with motivated home sellers. A lot of times I don't make any money from these sellers. I just try to genuinely help them out and refer them to professionals that can help them out. And I don't make any money from it, and I'm okay with that. And that's how I roll. That's how I decided to be. I don't want to be a sales guy. I've been a sales guy since high school. I've been selling oil in high school to doctors and drilling. I mean, I've done all kinds of sales you can imagine, ladies and gentlemen, since high school. I've never had a job, and I made a decision, in college that I'm never going to be a sales guy again. I'm going to be a helper. I'm going to be helping people. And if I don't make money from it, that's fine with me, okay? Because some way or another, I'm going to get compensated because the world we live in, the seeds you sow is the seeds you reap. And I 100% believe that. Anyways, guys, so subject to real estate myth and debunks, I just went over it. Is it hard? Is it easy? Can you really get free house? Is subject to real estate investing legal? And I told you I'm not an attorney, but look at a HUD one. And the persuasion, because a lot of people think you got to persuade these sellers. And personally, I never persuade a seller to do anything. Or my students, like most of you guys know that you try to get information, you want us to call you and sell you, and we don't call you, we don't sell you on your dreams because we want you to make your own decisions. When an external force conveys to you or convinces you or persuades you to do something, it really wasn't your decision. And what I realize is in life that if you can't make your own decision, the odds of success in your decision are slim. And that's why we don't sell you. That's why we don't sell home sellers. We're here to help you guys. And it doesn't matter if we get all the deals or not. There's so much deals in the world that the world we live in is an infinite abundance, right? Anyways, guys, thanks for clicking the like button. Thanks for clicking leaving me a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your opinions. And don't forget to subscribe. And always remember, you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you ever imagined. Romy, peace.